The Culling Game wasn't just a battle. It wasn't just a tournament. It was a trap designed to change the entire world. Thousands of people suddenly awakened strange powers. Cities were sealed behind massive barriers, and the only way to survive was to fight. This deadly event was created by one mastermind, Kenjaku. But the real question is, why did he start the Culling Game, and how did it become the most dangerous event in Jujutsu history? The Culling Game began right after the chaos of Shibuya. When the dust settled, the villain Kenjaku revealed his true plan. He didn't want money, he didn't want power, he wanted evolution. So he created a massive ritual, a deadly battle royale, where sorcerers and civilians would fight each other. The rules were simple but terrifying. Players were forced to participate. They had to fight inside sealed colonies now, and they earned points by killing other players. In fact, the entire event was described as one of the worst acts of Jujutsu terrorism ever created. And once the game started, there was no easy way out. At first, many sorcerers believed the Culling Game was just a survival contest, but they were wrong. The real purpose was far more terrifying. Kenjaku was collecting cursed energy from every battle. He planned to use that energy to merge humanity with a powerful being called Tengen, an event that could completely transform the human race. And this game followed strict rules carefully designed by Kenjaku, and breaking them could mean instant death. At the start, the game introduced 8 original rules. But as the battles continued, new rules were added by players themselves using points. Here are the 10 key rules aligned with the series. Rule 1. Declare participation within 19 days. Any person who awakened a cursed technique had 19 days to officially join a colony. This was the first command of the game. No delay, no excuses. Once your power awakened, your countdown began. Rule 2. Any player who breaks the previous rule shall be subject to cursed technique removal, and that removal was fatal. In the world of the Culling Game, refusing to play was the same as choosing death. Rule 3. Non-players who enter a colony become players at the moment of entry and shall be considered to have declared participation in the Culling Game. It means entering a colony automatically makes you a player. Even civilians. The moment you crossed the boundary, you were part of the game. Rule 4. Players score points by ending the lives of other players. While rule number 5 is, points are determined by the Game Master and indicate the value of a player's life. As a general rule, sorcerers are worth 5 points and non-sorcerers are worth 1 point. Rule 6. Players may expend 100 points to negotiate with the Game Master to add 1 new rule to the Culling Game. However, players cannot add their own life's value to the amount that can be spent. This turned the game into something dynamic, a system that could evolve during the battle. Rule 7. In accordance with the previous rule, the Game Master must accept any proposed new rule unless it will have a marked and long-lasting effect on the Culling Game. If the rule was reasonable, the Game Master had to accept it. Rule 8. If a player's score remains the same for 19 days, that player shall be subject to cursed technique removal. So, doing nothing was just as dangerous as fighting. Rule 9. Players shall have access to the following information about other players: name, points, number of rules added, and current colony. This changed the game completely. Now hunters could track their targets, and battles became more strategic. Rule 10. Players may transfer a number of points of their choosing another player. Another rule allowed players to give points to other participants. This created alliances. Teams, temporary cooperation. But in a deadly game, trust was always dangerous. Now let's talk about the battlefield. This battlefield wasn't just one location, it was spread across Japan. The Culling Game created multiple massive barriers called colonies. Each colony trapped players inside and forced them to fight. When someone entered a colony, they were randomly teleported to a new location inside it. This made teamwork difficult and survival even harder. Many powerful fighters joined the Culling Game. Some wanted to survive, others wanted revenge, and a few simply wanted chaos. Powerful fighter-like, Yuji Itadori entered the game to save innocent people and stop the disaster before it spread. But he carried a heavy burden, the curse of Ryomen Sukuna, and when Megumi Fushiguro joined, for a personal reason. His sister had been forced into the game, and he was willing to risk everything to save her. Along with, if we see Yuta Okotsu's entry when he entered one of the most dangerous colonies alone. His mission was simple: gather points and protect civilians. Also, we are forgetting the Hajime Kashimo, a mysterious ancient sorcerer who joined the game for one reason: to fight the strongest opponent possible. He quickly collected hundreds of points, making him one of the most dangerous players in the entire event. But Kashimo wasn't alone. Dozens of powerful fighters emerged from the chaos. Some were heroes, some were villains, and some were simply hunters looking for glory. The battlefield was no longer predictable. Every encounter could be your last. So why is the Culling Game so important? Because the Culling Game was not just another arc in Jujutsu Kaisen. It was the moment when the entire story changed direction. Before this event, the world of Jujutsu was hidden in the shadows. Sorcerers secretly fought curses to protect ordinary people. Most civilians never even knew these battles existed, but the Culling Game destroyed that secrecy. Suddenly, entire cities were surrounded by massive barriers. Thousands of people awakened cursed techniques overnight, and violence spread across the country faster than anyone could control. This wasn't just a crisis anymore. It was a collapse of the old system, and behind it all was one mastermind, Kenjaku. His plan was never about winning a battle. It was about forcing humanity to evolve into something completely new. Because, in his eyes, humans were unfinished, and the Culling Game was the experiment that would change them forever. For the first time in history, the danger of curses became impossible to hide. Governments began to panic. Military forces were deployed. Emergency systems started to fail. But none of it worked. Because this wasn't a normal disaster. It was a supernatural war. Entire districts turned into battlegrounds. Buildings collapsed. Communication networks broke down, and civilians were trapped inside the colonies with trained fighters and ancient sorcerers. Imagine waking up one morning and suddenly gaining a dangerous power you don't understand. No training, no protection, no escape. That was the reality for thousands of people. The Culling Game turned ordinary citizens into unwilling soldiers, and survival became the only rule. While chaos spread across the colonies, the heroes faced an impossible mission. They needed to stop the game, save civilians, and defeat the mastermind behind everything. But there was a problem. The rules of the game made escape almost impossible. Every player was forced to keep fighting. Every day brought new enemies, and every mistake could cost lives. Even the strongest sorcerers struggled to keep up. As the battles continued, a terrifying truth slowly became clear. The Culling Game was only the beginning. It was the preparation phase. Kenjaku wasn't just collecting energy from fights. He was preparing for the final step of his plan, the merging of humanity with the immortal being known as Tengen. If that merger succeeded, the world would change forever. Humanity might lose its individuality. Society might collapse, and the balance between life and death could disappear. This wasn't just a threat to Japan anymore. It was a threat to the entire world. The Culling Game is still unfolding. New fighters are entering the battlefield. New rules are being created. And the danger keeps growing. But one question remains. Can the heroes stop the mastermind behind it all? Or will the world be forced to evolve into something far more terrifying? Because the Culling Game isn't just a battle. It's the beginning of the end.